What's amazing to me about this guitar is that this still has the full, huge sound of Douglas Scott's full-size guitars, but this is only 632 millimeters. Which is 18 millimeters smaller than the standard scale length of 650. Hello and welcome to the Guitar Collection. Today I am greeting you with a short scale guitar at 632 millimeters by the great Canadian maker Douglas Scott. Now, before we get more into the scale length, the sound, the aesthetics of this guitar, Douglas Scott is a luthier who's been building a really high level of traditional guitars, but with some modern features. Things like a raised fingerboard, a sound port with a removable magnetic cover here, and just a sound that is a little bit more forward-facing and meeting the demands of the modern player. There's many guitarists that you can find online playing these guitars, whether it's Tárrega Harb or the gentleman from This Is Classical Guitar with all these great lessons and reviews of different products. He is always playing on his Douglas Scott guitar, which is also a short scale. I think that's 632 or 635 millimeters. But that's also an interesting category of guitars that Doug Scott's gotten himself into, which is building really high quality shorter scale instruments. Of course, he builds full scale as well, and you've seen reviews of those on my channel. I'm fortunate enough to get a couple of instruments from Doug every year. So if you are interested in reserving the next one for you, please write to me. But before we get more into that stuff, let's talk about the specs of this guitar. By the looks of it, you can obviously tell this is a spruce top guitar with, well, I was about to say how many fan bracings there are, but I have to check. So let me see how many fans there are, how many fans I've got here. Okay, well, this is how many of you are subscribed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 fans. Thank you all so much for subscribing to this channel. We'll end it here. No, I'm kidding. It's a 7 fan bracing design. And again, with all these awesome modern features, we have a raised fingerboard, a 20th C note, an armrest, which actually this one is particularly interesting and beautiful with a lighter piece here. Almost looks like it might be Brazilian rosewood here, but I have a feeling it's not because the back and sides are indeed Indian rosewood. And a really gorgeous set. It almost looks like it's one piece of wood, but it's just book matched perfectly. And then we've got a sound port here on the side, which can be covered with this little magnetic port cover, which is very, very nice feature. You know, there's quite a difference in sound from it being closed to open. Let's do that test a few times. Which one do you prefer? I mostly prefer it open, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that. Now, of course, you'll also notice his beautiful, I would say, Friedrich-inspired rosette with his own little touches here. I really like these light little dots around the outside. Also a really beautiful purfling here with 4 or 5 lines. Really, really nice. Now, when it comes to the neck, this one has a slight D shape to it. It's not a thick neck. It's not a super thin neck. But again, it is 632 millimeters you measure from the saddle here to the nut. And this one has a slightly less wide nut width, which is 51 millimeters instead of 52. You certainly feel it. And if you have smaller hands, or you're just looking for some help with stretches or a nice practice guitar, of course, this is an expensive instrument, but any of the above, I think you would really enjoy this instrument. The action is set up super low with still a little bit of room left to file at the saddle if you ever wanted to go lower. Moving on up to the head of the guitar, which I am ruining with this clip-on tuner, the look of, you know. We have this nice, looks like Torres-inspired shape with maybe these little side arches being a little bit higher than what you would see on a Torres. It makes it a bit of a distinctive design of Doug's. And then along that center of the head, you will see this little pattern that you can also find on the rosette along the outer and inner rings, which I think is very nice. I'm also quite a fan of these Alessi tuners that are on here. I'm a big tuner nerd, and I was stumped for a little bit looking at this, but I could tell from the gears these are Alessi. These silver base plates, nice big ebony buttons. Really a classy guitar. I really enjoy this. Now let's get into the sound a little bit. A big balanced open sound. You would be really surprised how loud of a guitar Doug Scott is making, not only for keeping a traditional bracing, no double top or lattice here, but also for it being 632 millimeters. By the way, some people prefer this shorter scale just for the feeling in the hands, which is a little bit looser of a feeling, right? And I have to say, it is really pleasant. As you can see, it's a very expressive, and something that comes with this little bit, less tension of the lower scaling is vibrato just coming out so easily, right? Let's try this thing tuned down to drop D. Very silky sound, very breathy and woody, which I quite like. You can hear it there, right? There's a nice grumble to the sound. And even in a piece like this, that's not incredibly difficult. You feel that ease of play everywhere. It's quite funny because some guitars I have here 667 or 670 millimeters, and that compared to 632 is quite wild. And such a pleasing set of colors. Listen to this. What a beautiful guitar by the Canadian maker Douglas Scott. Bravo to Doug on this guitar. Well, whether you are looking for the guitar that finally fits your hands, or you're just looking to finally not have an excuse for not being able to make those stretches that your guitar teacher is trying to get you to do. This might be the guitar for you. Definitely check it out at guitarcollection.com. You'll see a full album of photos, as well as a description for this instrument, as well as a place to leave your email. That way I can contact you about new instruments before they become publicly available. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this guitar in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.